Hello, peeps. I am trying to get Bree to come. I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. I think she's here. This is weird. Oh no. Malta, eu juro que estou a tentar. Okay. Breanne, I'm gonna invite you. Can you accept that, or isn't it? It's not possible.
Here we go. Hi.
Hi. So we had a little bit of a technical problem, but we're here. That's what matters.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to do this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So, oh yay, people are joining us. That's,
Awesome. I'm
yeah.
thinking we'll give everyone like 5 minutes and then we can get started.
Yeah, sure. Maybe we can just tell them like how we started talking. Like that's sure. Yeah. So, actually, did you DM me first or did I? I can't really recall.
I don't even remember, to be honest.
DM the other. And we were just like, so I see that you're like also like trying to bring awareness to our community and all of that. And we just one day we just decided to FaceTime, and it's been really good. And it's really that everyone is so nice in our community. Like I haven't found one person that is rude or anything like that. So that's really something.
Yeah, same here. No, I think it's just so cool how we can easily just connect with so many people and how there's different apps out there, just through Facebook, different groups, through Instagram, how there's just so many ways to connect with others. And so really comes to find out you're just not alone. Like I remember watching a couple of different people on YouTube, just talking about their story and what they do. And it's just so crazy because it's like, wow, like I go through the same thing too, and where we're just not alone. So I think it's awesome too, Andrea, how you're spreading awareness.
Yeah. I think actually with through the apps that I found and just trying to find people on Instagram and stuff, it just really helped me because we're gonna introduce ourselves a little bit later. We're just trying to, but because I'm so new at this, I was really trying to find information online and just people who knew what they were talking about, and so just kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I'm so excited. So do you want to maybe start? We could start with introductions.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I am Andreia, for those of you who don't know me. I've been diagnosed only about a month and a half ago. So I was diagnosed on October 24th. And uh, yeah, like I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, obviously. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. We're trying to get out. And yeah, so I'm also with, my platforms and everything. I'm just trying to be aware of what's going on, all the new technology, and just spread again awareness because people do not talk enough about this. And I think it's partially our fault because we, as a community, are very, I don't know, kind of ashamed of it. And so trying to take that stereotype out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so sorry for all the background noise over here. My boyfriend's bringing up the dog upstairs. The phone's ringing. So sorry about that. But yeah, so a little bit about myself. So my name is Breanne. On YouTube, I go by Breanne Nicole. So I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 18 months old. So in all honesty, diabetes is really just the only lifestyle I know where I really don't know any other way. And for a while, diabetes was something I felt very ashamed of, and it was something I would hide. And it's so bizarre to really think about it because if it's the only lifestyle I know, why am I so ashamed? I think a lot of it came down to comparison and just seeing others kind of living that normal life where they don't have an insulin pump attached to them. They don't have a bag full of juice boxes and sugar and prickers or pokers, however, whatever you want to call it, where for me, it was just like, like you just kind of feel different. So it wasn't until recently, I think social media is such a helpful tool in that way, where you can just relate to so many people. And then that's when I came to find out I just wasn't alone. And then that's why I decided it's time for me to spread awareness. My goal is to inspire others. And again, just not let people know, like, you're not by yourself. You have a whole community here to back you up. And I feel like with diabetes, it's so hard to understand unless you have it. So that's why I do want to be vulnerable with all of you and kind of share my story. Again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not here to give any medical advice whatsoever. This is more so just my experience. And then people like Andreia, seeing her on YouTube, sharing her story and how she was newly diagnosed is just so inspiring, because she also just brings a whole different story to it as well, as somebody newly diagnosed as an adult, where I can't even imagine that. I give so much credit for teenagers who are newly diagnosed, or children newly diagnosed, adults, because it's such a lifestyle change for them. So I just give them so much credit. And again, I hope I can just inspire just one person, and then I'm doing my due diligence.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, thank you for saying all those nice things. Again, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about this whole thing that people don't want to talk about. Obviously I've had my YouTube channel for a little while, and so I'm just the kind of person that actually, while talking about it, it just helps me. So maybe that's also why I'm a little bit more, I don't know, kind of at ease with sharing and everything. But I never seen anything that I should be ashamed of. I've never felt that way. And of course, we're not medical professionals. We're not here to try and be your doctor. We're just here to spread awareness about this and spread our experience. And I don't know, I've seen so many things that have helped me that other people share, because even if you are a professional, right? If you're a doctor, living with diabetes is not the same as knowing about it and knowing the treatments, because you have to feel your body. You have to know like so many different things. I've noticed when I cry, my levels go up. When I'm upset, when I get angry, when like it just, there's so many things that you have to know your own body. And there's a lot of things that actually are quite similar to everyone with diabetes. And so, yeah, we should absolutely be talking about this. And I am sorry that you felt like you were, ashamed of it. And I'm sorry if you felt left out. But maybe, we can start something here and get people to be less embarrassed about it and just embrace it, because it's so much better and it's healthier as well for your mental health and all of this situations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm so with you. I just remember even doing research, just seeing how people who are like very ashamed of it would put their own health at risk. So I do have a video on YouTube. It's my confessions and the things that I would do wrong while managing my diabetes. And it was one of my hardest videos to film because I was so vulnerable and so honest. So that's definitely a video I would highly recommend checking out if you are someone who's ashamed of it, because at least for me, I felt that way for a while. However, and it still comes up, sometimes it's not easy when our insulin pumps, if you are wearing an insulin pump, starts beeping in public and it's going off like crazy, and it's like all the attention's on you and everyone's looking around. And I did want to mention a little bit, kind of backtracking about how me and Andreia connected. We're also from two different countries, which I find like absolutely amazing how we're able to connect, not only about like the type 1 diabetes, but how we are at such a distance and how we're able to make this work together too, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it's so much better. Like, I think I know like two people in Portugal with type 1 diabetics, but I've been speaking to so many people from so many different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the experience is exactly the same, and it's amazing. It's just It's really great. Um, so while we were talking, Breanne actually she told me about a question that someone actually made on one of the apps. Am I right? Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep. So anybody, who is watching, who is type 1 diabetic, I highly recommend joining this one app. It's called Beyond Type 1. It's just a wonderful community just to really be a part of. So somebody reached out to me and they did ask me the following question. So they asked me, how did you come to accept living with type 1 diabetes? And how long did it take you to get comfortable with it? So I'm thinking, Andrea, do you want to start off with it, especially because you are newly diagnosed?
Yeah, sure. Actually, when you first read me that question, I was literally, I don't have an answer. Like, I don't have like a specific moment when I was like, yeah, this is great. Because it's not. It's very hard to live with every day. It's a new routine. Like, I was not used to any of it, absolutely any of it. Like, I knew zero about this, and I don't know, accepting it, I think that I just got it into my mind that it was better to not fight against it, because if I did, that could be very dangerous as well. Um, and again, I started talking to everybody about it. I think that was my way of coping with things. I think it still is. Of course, then my mental health took like a big toll with this, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one in our community actually has a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety and a lot of mental health problems. But, I just decided not to fight against it. And I think that helps a lot, because being angry with yourself and being like, why did this happen to me? Why me? Why not somebody else? I feel like that puts you at war with yourself, and that was just a battle that I chose not to fight, because there's no way that you can win it. And I think also, I had like so many great friends supporting me. I think that was very important, and my family. And I was diagnosed because my friend's mother, she was the one who was like, you need to go to the doctor because that's not okay what's happening to you. So, she basically saved my life, and I am so thankful. And so, I don't know, I also felt like I owe them to be like good, and to just keep up with everything and just actually make sure that I'm healthy and that I do everything that I can, because I have so many plans out of my life that I'm not going to let this stop me. And so I literally thought I don't have time to fight myself on this and try to avoid it, because that I rather really go into research and learn as much as possible. And because the more you know, the better you can help yourself. And also, if you tell people around you, even though they're not diabetics, they can help you if you need. Because let's face it, like, if you get a really low, right, and you are at college, you're not home, or I don't know, there's some situations that you need somebody to know what's happening to you. You need somebody to help you. And so that's like, I don't know, that's my experience. I don't know if I have actually embraced it all, but I am trying to. And just, of course, there's moments, but that's life, and that's for everybody in every situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit on a really important point, was support and having support. I mean, just looking at this live, I see my brother Brian on here. I see my sister Angela. I see my sister's boyfriend Mike on here. So just the amount of support from family members and friends, I think it's just so important. Whereas I think it's so important to educate your family members and friends about what's going on for you. Nobody's a mind reader unless you share with them what's going on. Let's say hypothetically your blood sugars are 300 and you feel agitated or you feel emotional or however you may feel when your blood sugars are at that point. let somebody know, like, hey, I'm not feeling well right now. I'm feeling very agitated. My blood sugars right now are pretty high. Just kind of give somebody that heads up, and just let them know what's going on. Or if you're feeling low and you're in the middle of a conversation, like, hey, like, I need to get myself some sugar. I'm not feeling well. Just communicate with them. I think really helps. I think communication is just so important. And I got totally distracted by all the comments. All the comments. Thank you. But yeah, so yeah, support I think is just so important. And then kind of going back to the question of how did you come to accept living with type 1 diabetes and how long did it take you to get comfortable with it? I don't think there was an opportunity for me to get comfortable or accept it because I was a baby. So I think more so that question would be more for my parents
Yeah.
because my parents were the ones taking care of me. And of course, as an 18-month-old baby, I can't really communicate how I'm feeling. So I kind of give all credit to them, where it's almost like they were living with the disease, but I had the disease, if that made sense, because they were my primary caretakers.
Do you have any memories like of just, I don't know, being really little and just being at the hospital because of diabetes, and are you just
So no memories about that. However, I do have memories maybe a little older, maybe as a kid, I would just, or even as like a toddler, running away from the needles. In school, I remember wearing a watch and then it beeping, letting me know what time it is, like if I needed to have a snack, because I was on such like a strict meal plan at that time because I was taking about 5 to 6 needles a day. I was taking something called MPH where it was very strict with what I was eating and my carbs. Whereas my insulin pump, I got that in fourth grade, and I almost look at that as freedom, where you can now enjoy food, and more so, you have more freedom around it, as long as you put the correct amount of insulin in. So 18 months, it's so hard to remember that. It's more so of like those certain milestones of like getting a new insulin pump. And really my parents and my grandparents normalized it for me, where let's say, my grandma had a thing of sweets on the table. She would maybe take those away and give me, my brother and sister something else, where I was never left out, which is really helpful.
yeah, that's really nice. Um, should we try and answer some questions?
Yeah, definitely.
Let me check. Hmm.
Yeah, it just doesn't let me scroll up on my screen.
It does. Um,
Mm-mm.
okay. People are just so nice. Um, okay, so somebody asked, where do you guys see diabetes regarding technology in the future?
Wow, that's a really good question.
I think it's so different. I'm sure you have a pretty good difference between when you were younger to now, but just by seeing people and talking to some people who used old technology and it sucked and now it's so much different. We are very blessed to be living in this time. Just for all, like, I don't have to pick my finger like 18 times a day. Like, that just on itself, for me, it's a blessing, but I'm sure Breanne has a much better insight on this subject than I do.
Yeah, I mean, just the technology alone, I highly recommend doing research too on life before insulin. It's bizarre. I believe, don't quote me on this as I'm not a historian, but this was like they did the starvation diet like before insulin even existed. So seeing people so sadly starve to a point where now we can enjoy food and live our daily life, go to work, drive a car, and just really have that opportunity to manage our diabetes, it's literally like night and day. So I always try to come from a place of gratitude because we can't complain and be appreciative at the same time. So anytime I complain about, oh, I have to put in a new insulin site, oh, my pump needs to charge, it's the battery's low, I kind of stop myself and look, wow, like it could always be so much worse in that way before this type of technology existed. So I think our future, I think it does look bright. you know, just the amount of technology and so much has changed and so much is advancing so quickly.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. We are obviously very hopeful that they find a cure, but before then, they are trying to make us comfortable, and that's really great. Um, okay, so we have someone saying, it took me some years to get comfortable as I was diagnosed when I was 7. And it's not easy to tell a kid who just went to school to see all of the other kids and accept I cannot eat like everybody else. Yeah, I'm sure that was very hard. And again, even for you, Breanne, like even if that you didn't know any better before then, I'm sure that there were some situations where it was uncomfortable. Like, could you go and like have like sleepovers, or how did that work? Like, did you have like only like certain people that your parents like fully trusted, or were you just like, no, like this is better not happening?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So yeah, like as a kid, like kind of coming back to Ricardo's question too, where it's really not easy to tell a kid no. To kind of even backtrack even further, where for birthday parties, I think that was some of the toughest, where kids would bring, you know, cookies and donuts and all those types of sweets. Where at that time, because I was on such like more of a strict diet back then, where I couldn't have that type of food was really hard. I mean, my mom again would really try and normalize everything and would bring me like apples with Splenda and cinnamon. I would bring that to the class. I would feel so special because I was the only kid bringing it. Now back to sleepovers, of course, like birthday parties, people would have sleepovers. You want to sleep over a friend's house. For the most part, I did not do sleepovers just because I think my parents just worry so much about, you know, like my insulin, who's going to check on me and really make sure I am managing my diabetes, who's going to inject me with insulin. I was pretty independent in regards to like pricking my finger. However, I just did not inject myself with insulin. At that age, it was more so my mom, you know, measuring out the insulin, making sure I'm getting the correct amount. The only time I would sleep over at my grandma's house was when her neighbor was home, who was a nurse, who would inject the insulin. So, you know, that's kind of tough as a kid, not really having the freedom to like sleep over to a friend's house or anything like that. But I did have like big sleepover parties at my own house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hard, and I think on kids is even harder because for me, like I'm an adult, like you lived your life, your childhood, let's say, so you've enjoyed some things, and again, I think that especially for me that I used to literally sleep every night away from home,
Yeah.
I back and I think, wow, like that could have not happened. Absolutely not. Like I think about it now and I'm like, if my kid has diabetes, like I'm sorry, you're not going anywhere because this is dangerous, and I don't know, I don't trust these people. Like I don't know, maybe after a very long time, if you have somebody that again maybe their parents are a nurse or whatever, but that's very tricky. It's a very complicated situation to handle, and to a parent, I think, props to all the parents who have diabetic kids and aren't diabetics themselves, because I feel like that's even harder because you don't actually know. So props to them and to your parents, of course, to be taking such good care of kids, because it's already hard, you know, raising kids as it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. It's definitely, I actually did a YouTube video on growing up with diabetes too. So for anyone on this call who was diagnosed as a child, and or if you are taking care of a child with type 1 diabetes, it's definitely a video I would highly recommend for sure.
I've watched it. It's really good.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to add? I would also like to say that we are thinking of just coming up with maybe themes and doing this like as in a regular basis. So if anyone has like any idea, or if you have anything that you would like us to talk about, again, we have two very different perspectives because, I'm a newbie and Breanne is clearly, she knows what she's doing. So
Doing great. I mean, just hearing from you and how open you are with it, and you are newly diagnosed and newly diagnosed as an adult, I give you so much credit because that is not an easy thing whatsoever. So definitely so much credit for you and the amount of knowledge that you have about it so quickly. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm learning from you too.
Yeah, I've just been, again, just research, just searching everything on the internet to learn and to do better. So if you guys have any suggestions or you have anything that you would like us to talk about, either DM one of us or you can just, and yeah, would you like to add something?
No, I think that's it. Again, we both have YouTube channels as well. I'm Breanne Nicole. And then also, Andrea, I don't know if you want to share your channel as well before we end it.
Yeah, it's just Andreia Ferreira. It's literally my name. Also, I at least have my link in my bio. I think Breanne has it as
Yep.
well. So you can just check that out. Again, my channel is just, I'm literally just sharing my journey as I go. So I don't have like any tips or anything. Like if you want that kind of deep videos, Breanne is surely the one to go and watch. But for me, it's really just, my journey as I'm going along and as it was, how it is happening
Yeah.
pretty much at the present time.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you all for taking the time out to watch this video. Again, just kind of back what Andrea was saying. If anyone has any comments or suggestions for our next video, any questions, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. We look forward to hearing from you all soon.
Yeah. So this is great. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys. I don't know. Are we gonna do like, oh, thank you. What, I don't know, maybe either next week or in 2 weeks' time. Also, let us know if you would like to that if you would like this to be more of a regular thing or maybe more sporadic. And also if you would like us to do maybe longer. But also when we have like a theme, it's better because you just get the conversation going. So this was just like an introduction to this little thing that we're doing. So
Yep. All
that's
right.
guys, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.